Big wins for pro-life Christians yesterday. I'm very excited. Just wanted to share my thoughts on the races in Virginia and New Jersey, as well as a few other things. I almost titled this video, Trump beats Biden again. Usually I've been sticking to politics on my Rumble account, Blue Collar Catholic at Rumble. But this affects the church in such a big way since the United States Conference of Bishops said that abortion is the most important issue of our day in this culture of America. So this is a political issue, but it affects us Catholics. To be Catholic is to be pro-life. There's no way around that. And we are pro-life here at Blue Collar Catholic. That's why I endorse realestateforlife.org if you're buying or selling real estate. And that's why I'm so excited about the big upset in Virginia last night. At the beginning of this race, they thought this was going to be a layup. Like Terry McAuliffe, powerful ex-governor. I know him back in the 90s when he ran Bill Clinton's campaign. And even though I hated his liberal pro-abortion stances, I respected him as an opponent. I thought he was a really brilliant political strategist, and I watched this campaign and I watched him make mistake after mistake. Like, the Democrats are so out of touch with the mood of the American people. It just blew my mind. And up until recently, the polls were showing that he was still going to win pretty handedly. And then the polls started coming in. Trafalgar, who I trust more than any pollster, had McAuliffe losing by 2 points, and Fox News had him losing by 8 points. And of course, the mainstream media ignored those two polls and just called them outliers, But they were right. Well, I think Trafalgar was right. I think the final outcome was 2 points. But this is how exciting it is for pro-lifers. Governor Northam, the Democrat governor of Virginia right now, is the most extreme pro-abortion governor in the state. He wasn't able to get the extreme abortion agenda passed like Cuomo, but he was trying to get things even more ghoulish passed. I actually have a video of him. It's like a 1-minute video of him on a radio show where the radio host was talking about one of the Democrats in the House of Representatives, in the Virginia House, that wanted to pass a law allowing abortion through the 9th month and beyond. She's like, surely I'm misunderstanding that. You're not saying like when the baby's in the birth canal, the woman could decide to have an abortion. He goes, yes, I am. And Governor Northam is a former doctor as well, so he knows the science. And he said, well, what about beyond? She said, well, if the baby's born, and I have this on tape, I'm not exaggerate one bit. He's like, if the baby's born, we'll make the baby comfortable until the mother decides if she wants to let the baby live or die. I mean, he said it so nonchalantly like that. This is the most pro-abortion governor you can imagine. And he's being replaced by a pro-life Republican, a Christian man, a Protestant Christian, who says he wants to sign a bill that would ban abortions once babies are able to feel pain. And according to Dr. Ben Carson, when surgeons do surgery on fetuses as young as 12 weeks in the womb, they give them anesthesia because they know they feel pain. So this abortion ban, if it's according to science, could be as restrictive as the Texas abortion ban. But it's funny because it's not funny, but it's ironic. I have a guilty pleasure on election nights when Democrats are losing is to go on to the mainstream media and the liberal stations, which, one and the same, to watch their reaction. They look so sad and they try to make excuses. And all the media was saying, Youngkin's racist. This is, their critique of critical race theory is a racist dog whistle. Got all the racists to come out and vote for him. The same old Democrat tricks they've been using. They called Bush a racist, McCain a racist, Romney a racist, of course, Trump a racist 24/7 because they hated him so much. And now they're calling Youngkin a racist because he won. But what's ironic is the real racist is the governor he's replacing I mean, we had the pictures. The governor's first year in Virginia as governor, the pictures came out from his medical yearbook in a KKK outfit, holding his white friend who's in blackface. Both are very offensive. Many people have lost their career being in blackface, never mind in a KKK outfit. And he just came out and apologized. I was young. It was just, a Halloween joke. But he wasn't young. He was in medical school. This guy was in medical school. It wasn't like he was in high school or even college. He was in medical school. He was close to 30 years old. But the media ignored that because he was such a pro-abortion guy and they loved him. And ironically, if he would have resigned, like if that was a Republican, they would have been forced to resign. That would have been 24/7. No Republican could have survived being caught in a picture with a KKK outfit. But the lying Marxist media in America just covered for this guy because if he resigned, guess who would have been governor? A black man. He would have been the second black governor of Virginia, their lieutenant governor, who was also pro-abortion. And the attorney general said no, they both need to resign because the lieutenant governor has been accused of sexual assault. Like 3 women said he raped them, not assaulted them. 3 women claim this guy raped them. Hashtag, believe the women, whatever. Ignored this big controversy because he was a pro-abortion Democrat. And the white attorney general wanted both of them to resign so he could be governor because he was third in line. But then it came out that this white guy was in blackface too. There's pictures of him in blackface and he apologized. So all 3 of these Democrats, if they were Republicans, would have resigned. And they're all extremely pro-abortion politicians, and they were given a pass. And ironically, the Republican pro-life lieutenant governor who just won yesterday, and in Virginia, they don't vote together on a ticket like vice president and president. You could have a Republican governor and a Democrat lieutenant governor could win. But thankfully, both a Republican governor, who is considered a win by upset, no one thought he would win, and the lieutenant governor they really thought wasn't going to win. She is the first black woman to hold statewide office in Virginia. This was a historic night. And like I said, I listened to the liberal media, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, all these guys, and nobody thought that was a big deal. Nobody mentioned that this is historic, the first black woman to hold statewide office in Virginia. Instead, they're calling the Republicans win. They want to be, because the racists came out and voted for them. It's just, people are seeing through the lies of the left, and it's just backfiring big time. And this woman is a very strong pro-life Christian. She likes a Texas abortion law. If she was governor, she would sign the Texas abortion law. So, big win. And then the House of Delegates, the Attorney General, Republicans just swept Virginia last night. They swept it. Nobody was predicting a sweep but me. They swept it. And then, right now, it's too close to call, but in New Jersey, the polls show the Republican was going to get clobbered by 10 points. Biden won New Jersey 10 months ago by like 18 points. The Republican is leading. It's close, literally 65 votes. 65 votes right now separate the two. But if this Republican wins, now he's not as pro-life as the Republican in Virginia, but compared to the extreme pro-life position of the Democrat that wants abortion through the 9th month, he wants to ban abortion after 20 weeks. So although it's not what we want, it's way better, and even the pro-life community supported him, it's way better than the extreme abortion position of this guy, Phil Murphy. And what killed Murphy was the way he shut down New Jersey like a tyrant, like Newsom in California. He just shut him down like he was a dictator. And I did a video. If you didn't see it, I really highly recommend it. The Real Saints of Newark, where I talked to Anthony Imperielli's daughter. And Anthony Imperielli was a state senator. And he was like Trump before Trump. He was like a New Jersey Trump. And she's really politically savvy. And she says, Rob, I think people are going to be surprised. I don't know anyone who's going to vote Democrat. Everybody in the state is fed up with this crap they're pushing on us. And then on top of that, James O'Keefe from Veritas went on the cover, and he got one of his senior advisors to admit that Murphy's lied to the people, that Murphy said he wasn't going to do the vaccine passports like de Blasio did. And the senior advisor said, yeah, once we win this election, the passports are coming. We're locking down again. So that got people really upset. Like this, the Democrat lies are just, you can only lie so much. The media can only cover you for you so much. And eventually, with all this alternative media we have and social media, the lies are being uncovered. And this is a red wave. Don't let the media spin it. This is a huge red wave. This is Let's Go Brandon moment. This is a Let's Go Brandon moment in America. This is a referendum on Biden. Donald Trump endorsed Youngkin in Virginia when he had like 10 other Republicans that wanted to run, and he picked Youngkin. So don't let the media say Trump had nothing to do with this. This was Trump's guy beating Biden's guy. And that was one of the mistakes McAuliffe made. He wasn't reading the mood of America. He should have distanced himself from Biden. Instead, he had Biden come and give a speech, which was incoherent as usual. So that's another reason he lost. And then on top of that, I mean, I just loved it, man. I was just having so much fun. To add insult to injury, the Atlanta Braves win the World Series. And if you don't understand how that's connected, I'll explain it real short. So in the presidential election, Georgia had some funky rules where Mark Zuckerberg came in and donated like $500 million, literally $500 million to run these, to help run the election, pretty much run the election. He said it was, a donation, but he put thousands, like 10,000 drop boxes all over the state where people could just drop in their ballot, and then Zuckerberg's people, and Zuckerberg is an outspoken liberal Democrat, they would bring the votes in. They would bring the boxes in. I mean, and they didn't have to show ID because you're just dropping it in a box. So Georgia's like, whoa, this is not going to go right. We can't do that. We got to limit how many we can do, and they got to have some kind of proof of ID, and so Joe Biden, the liar and divider in chief, came out and said, "Oh, this is Georgia's Jim Crow laws. You need to boycott Georgia," and which ironically, every single Jim Crow law in America was put in place by Democrats, and Kamala Harris, in their first debate, even called Joe Biden out for supporting these Jim Crow laws. And we have Joe Biden on tape said he's a segregationist because he doesn't want his children to grow up in a racial jungle. He don't want them to go to school in a racial jungle. So it's very ironic that he would call this law that it's just a common sense law. You need to see your ID before you vote, Jim Crow. But Major League Baseball, that's run by woke liberals, took his cue and boycotted Georgia for the All-Star game, which a lot of small businesses depended, especially coming out of this pandemic. So again, everything Joe Biden does hurts working men and women, businessmen, and of course that did it. But then the World Series goes to Atlanta. So they have 3 games. One World Series generates a lot more money than one All-Star game, and they had 3 World Series. Not only that, they won. And not only that, the other team was a red state team too, from Texas, the Houston Astros. So it was just we kicked them. And then while they were down, we stomped on them, So I just want to thank God, pray New Jersey that this Republican wins. This will devastate. And even though it's only Virginia and New Jersey, the rest of the Democrats are watching. Like, this is going to just deflate the sails of the woke left, the squad and all these young socialists and communists in the Democrat Party. Right now, they're controlling the party, but you're going to have guys like Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, which still have some common sense, even though they're pretty liberal, they have common sense. They're going to pause, and they're going to help us Republicans stop this radical communist agenda Biden's trying to push through. So it was just a really good night. And you know, we're so used to hearing bad news. You know, praise the Lord, this is great news. We swept Virginia, and even if we don't win New Jersey, what a message that's sending. The bluest of blue states right now is too close to call. And I am praying for a miracle that this Republican pulls it out. I mean, so many babies' lives are going to be saved between these two governors. So God bless, stay Catholic, and go to realestateforlife.org if you're buying or selling real estate.